Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Sea Otter exhibit. My name is Ariana, and I'm one of the naturalists here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. If you're wondering where the voice is coming from, I'm actually standing behind some of you all on the mezzanine level. Hello, everybody. And you all are here at the right place and at the right time, because in just about 5 minutes, we'll be joined by some of my friends from our otter care team, and they'll be stepping inside the exhibit to do a feeding and training session for our otters. But before we get started, just a few things. I would love to direct your attention to the monitors up above the exhibit windows on both the first and second floors. I went ahead and I turned on some cameras for you all to give you a bird's eye view of all of the otter action. And for all of my friends hanging out in front of the exhibit windows here on the mezzanine level, feel free to take a moment to look around you, make sure we're not blocking the view of any of our fellow guests. Any little ones or folks in wheelchairs and mobility devices, we do want everybody to have the best view possible. So feel free to usher them closer to the windows if you can. And lastly, you are more than welcome to take as many photos and videos of this feeding as you like. We just ask that you please turn off your flash. We are a flash-free facility. Your photos will turn out better, I promise, and our otters will definitely thank you for it. I'm going to go ahead and hop off microphone, but I will be back in just a couple of minutes. Well, hello and good afternoon again, everybody. For those of you that are just joining us, welcome to the Sea Otter exhibit. My name is Ariana, and I'm one of the naturalists here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And this afternoon, I'm being joined by some of my friends from our animal care team, and they'll be doing a feeding and training session for our 4 otters. Let me go ahead and introduce you to the girls. Let's start off with the otter on the far right-hand side of the exhibit with my friend Morgan. That is our blondest otter, Ivy. And then right next to her, moving to the left, is our eldest otter, Rosa. She is hanging out with my friend Sarah, and Rosa is 23 years old. And I'm right in the middle with my friend Jessica. That is our youngest otter and one of our resident brunettes, Ruby. And then all the way on the far left-hand side with my friend Stephanie, that is, that is Kit, who is our longest otter. And this training session utilizes a method called positive reinforcement, which means each of the otters are going to be asked to do different behaviors. You can see that some of our otters are being asked to follow their trainers to different parts of the exhibit. And if they choose to do the behaviors they are asked, they will be rewarded or positively reinforced with some of their favorite foods. This is one of many training sessions we do with each and every one of our otters, and for a couple of reasons. Otters eat a lot of food. They eat about 25% of their body weight every day. And if we were to eat like an otter, we would need to eat 20 large pizzas all by ourselves. And do I have any takers for that eating challenge? No? Just me? Ooh, seeing a couple of hands being raised over there. But pizza's not on the menu for otters. Instead, they feed on a wide variety of shellfish and invertebrates out in the wild. But here at the aquarium, we will give our otters a combination of clam, shrimp, and squid. And all of that food is weighed out and placed inside those little silver buckets you see attached to the trainer's hips. That helps us make sure that each of our otters get their fair share. And another reason why we do these training sessions with our otters is to form very strong and trusting bonds between the otters and their caretakers here at the aquarium. Because there will be times where we do need to administer care for the otters, both on and off exhibit. You can see Morgan is actually asking Ivy to come out of the water and onto the deck there. And since she did do the behavior she was asked, there we go with that positive reinforcement as a reward. And by having the otters hop out of the water is a good place we like to have them go. It allows us to look at their body outside of the water, but the deck is also a good section of the exhibit we like to have the otters go to administer care. And over with Kit, you might notice her get some eye drops during this session, and that is what we call a husbandry or animal care behavior. Like I mentioned before, we are forming very strong and trusting bonds between our otters and their caretakers here at the aquarium. And so that is another reason why we do these training sessions. We do want the otters to be voluntary participants in their care here at the aquarium. So what you're seeing here today is actually behind the scenes look at the day-to-day work we do with each and every one of our otters. And the cool thing about our otters is whenever they are on exhibit, we'll actually give them the soft and squishy parts of their food. And that's because out in the wild, otters are known as tool users. Since they're eating prey that has a hard shell, they need to use tools like rocks or even their strong jaws and sharp teeth to break open all of those hard shells. But we learned the hard way that whenever we did give the otters their food with the shell still on while they were on exhibit, their favorite tool ended up being those exhibit windows you're looking through. Yep, those strong jaws, sharp teeth worked really well, but the glass not so much. The glass actually ended up getting scratched and scuffed and even cracked from all of those hard shells. So we learned our lesson, and we'll actually give them the soft and squishy parts of their food while they're on exhibit, but we still want them to practice that natural foraging and feeding behavior. So what we will do is we will give the otters something called enrichment. And enrichment serves several purposes, but the main purpose is to keep the otters both physically and mentally stimulated while they're on exhibit. For all of my friends hanging out on the first floor of this exhibit, you all may be noticing some toys floating around in the rockwork there. And those toys are their enrichments. They'll be filled with some of that food. Oh, there we go. Morgan asked Ivy to go down to the bottom of the exhibit to retrieve one of those toys. And that is an enrichment behavior. It's allowing her to practice that natural foraging behavior that she would have out in the wild. But those toys would be filled with some of that food and allows the otters to bang it up against the glass to their heart's content without damaging the windows. And it gives you all that nice pristine view through those windows. But in return, it allows the otters to really tap into that natural feeding behavior. And to satisfy the otter's crunch craving, we will give them ice to chew on, since they're not chewing through a hard shell. And one of my favorite enrichments we do with our otters is something we like to call ice molds, but I also like to call them otter pops. And it's basically their food frozen in big ice blocks that allow them to crunch through that ice, chew on it, and bang it up against the glass to their heart's content. But that gives them that nice, satisfying crunch out of the deal. You may be noticing that some of the trainers might be asking the otters to swim to different parts of the exhibit. And by having the otters do that, that gives them an opportunity to look at the otter's body and mobility while they're in the water. And all 5 of our otters have been deemed non-releasable by U.S. Fish and Wildlife, but here at the aquarium, they have 2 very important jobs. When they're on exhibit like today, they're ambassadors for their species out in the wild. When they're behind the scenes, they will also be surrogate or foster moms to any rescue otters that come through our Sea Otter Rescue Program. And there you go, one of our otters is being asked to come out of the water. That looks like that might be Ruby. She's coming out of the water there, and if you're wondering what that little blue and white buoy is, that is what we call a target. And each of our otters has been trained to touch their noses to that target and to even follow it. And by doing so, that allows us to lead the otters to different parts of the exhibit behind the scenes, and it also allows the otters to hold different positions that we might need them to hold to give them any care or to also examine them. But this feeding and training session is going to continue on for a little while longer, but I'm going to go ahead and hop off the microphone. Once again, my name is Ariana. If you do have any questions about the training session, our otters, or if you want to know where you can catch more otter fun here at the aquarium, feel free to come up and see me. I'm more than happy to chat. I'm hanging out on the 2nd floor mezzanine. But if you are ready to move on and continue exploring, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all continue to have an otterly awesome day here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.